Word of faith false teachers will have you believe that you can speak things into existence, speak things into your favor, and they often use the scripture, or ones like it, in Genesis 1:26. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." This false teaching states that because we are made in the image of God or his likeness, well then, we can do everything he can do, and God did speak things into existence within the Genesis account. This often goes hand in hand with the little gods theology that says because we are made by God in his image, well then we ourselves are gods. In many places in Scripture, God is very clear that he alone is the only God there ever was and the only God there ever will be. With that being the case, we are not gods, and therefore we do not have God-like abilities. Even without the Bible in place, it only takes a sane and non-deceived analysis of the real world to realize that we can't speak things into existence. Otherwise, starving children in Somalia could just speak food into existence, or the impoverished people in South Sudan could speak all of their needs into fruition. Kenneth Copeland will have you believe that Adam wasn't a little like God, he was exactly like God.
God's reason for creating Adam was his desire to reproduce himself. I mean a reproduction of himself. And in the Garden of Eden, he did that. He was not a little like God. He was not almost like God. He was not subordinate to God even. And Adam is as much like God as you could get. Just the same as Jesus, when he came into the earth, he said, "If you've seen me, you've seen the Father." He wasn't a lot like God. He's God manifested in the flesh. And I want you to know something. Adam in the Garden of Eden was God manifested in the flesh.
Stuff like this is childish, greedy, self-inflated based teaching because God doesn't sin. And yet Adam sinned and fell to temptation, so obviously Adam wasn't exactly like God, and neither are we. Adam and Eve rebelled and sinned against God, and therefore Romans makes it quite clear that we have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. We are not just like God because we already start off with a sinful nature and we're not free from sinning. In fact, 1 John 3:2 shows us that in many ways we aren't like God. Beloved, we are now children of God, and yet what we will be has not yet been revealed. We know that when Christ appears, we will be like him, for we will see him as he is. We know that when Christ appears, we will be like him. We are on the redemptive side of the fall, but still battling with sin. And we all, with unveiled face, beholding the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. For this comes from the Lord who is the Spirit. To be in God's image means we have personality, we have inherent morality, we have spirituality. We do not have his capabilities. And this is emboldened by the fact that God alone is God. Real-world evidence shows we cannot speak things into existence, and even in our likeness to him, what we will be has not yet been revealed. And when Christ appears, we shall be like him, for then we shall be eternal and in our glorified state. But still, only God has ever been and will ever be God. We cannot speak things into existence. God bless and mad love.